Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any deep dives into the hidden truths of history. Today, we're exploring a side of human behavior that textbooks rarely cover. The rules that were discarded the instant survival became the only priority. From ancient villages under siege to wartime cities running low on supplies, survival instincts often overrode social norms, laws, and even morality. Understanding what people broke first and why can teach us not just history, but practical lessons about human resilience and adaptability. People abandoned property rights when life depended on food. One of the first rules to crumble in extreme circumstances was private ownership. When famine or siege struck, people often raided granaries, abandoned farms, or even neighbours' pantries. During the Great Famine of the 14th century in Europe, there are documented cases of peasants raiding lordly stores despite harsh punishments. In practical terms, this shows that when resources become scarce, societal rules around property are fragile. For a survivalist today, the takeaway isn't lawlessness, but prioritizing resource management, stockpiling essential supplies safely, rotating them regularly, and understanding local laws so you're prepared without creating unnecessary conflicts. People ignored social hierarchies to secure their survival. Hierarchy and deference to authority were some of the earliest social rules humans followed. But history shows that when food, shelter, or safety was on the line, these structures often broke down. In medieval siege situations, commoners would bypass nobles to take direct control of food distribution. Even in more modern contexts, during the London Blitz, workers frequently ignored wartime rationing queues to protect family members. The lesson here is that survival often shifts power to those who act decisively. Today, knowing this can help modern preppers understand group dynamics. If you are in a high-stakes situation, recognize who will naturally assume control and how you can cooperate strategically rather than blindly following outdated authority. People violated laws to secure essential medicine or protection. When disease or danger struck, legal codes were often set aside. In the 17th century plague outbreaks in England, citizens would flee quarantine zones, smuggle medicines, or trade forbidden remedies. The lesson isn't to encourage breaking the law, but to study the reasoning behind survival-driven decisions. In modern survival planning, this could translate to learning alternative medicine practices, basic first aid, or self-protection measures that keep you and your community safe without violating critical ethical boundaries. People turned to bartering and alternative economies. When money lost its value due to scarcity or collapse, the first rule to break was often the standard currency system. During the hyperinflation of the Weimar Republic, bread and coal were more valuable than paper marks, and citizens engaged in direct barter, often creating underground economies. Understanding this shows how humans adapt by creating practical value systems under pressure. Today, studying barter and resource exchange strategies can help modern survivalists prepare for emergencies where traditional systems fail, such as stockpiling items of high practical value like seeds, fuel and tools, which can substitute for currency in local trading scenarios. People overlook traditional gender or age roles to survive. Survival situations often force people to step outside their expected social roles. Men and women, young and old, took on duties they would normally never perform. During sieges in medieval Europe, children sometimes carried water or helped in defense, while older individuals led community decision-making. For modern observers, this really demonstrates that survival is more about capability than conformity. Practically speaking, it reinforces the importance of flexible skills. Training everyone in a household or group in essential tasks, from food preparation to basic defense, ensures resilience when traditional roles, no longer apply. People improvise shelter and safety rules. When buildings collapsed, homes burned, or urban centres became dangerous, folks disregarded zoning, private property, or safety ordinances. During wartime air raids in London, civilians dug makeshift shelters in backyards or basements without any official permission. They learned quickly which methods provided adequate protection and which, failed. For today's survival enthusiasts, this really highlights the value of improvisation. Knowing how to assess a structure for safety, create temporary shelters, and use materials creatively can, quite honestly, mean the difference between life and death. Under starvation conditions, people abandoned strict food safety practices. Historical records from sieges and famines indicate that foraged or scavenged foods were often consumed raw or without proper storage, despite the risk of illness. The lesson here is not reckless consumption, but informed risk management. Modern survivalists can study these patterns to prepare understanding which wild foods are edible, how to purify water, and how to store perishable supplies without refrigeration is a direct application of historical behavior. People defied travel restrictions when escape was possible. Movement restrictions, whether borders, quarantines or curfews, were often the first rules to be broken. During plagues or wartime occupations, fleeing to safer regions was a higher priority than obedience. Historically, these actions could save lives, though they carried risks. In practice, this really underscores the importance of mobility planning. Knowing escape routes, transportation options and safe havens is honestly critical for modern preppers who want to stay ahead of evolving crises. The patterns are clear. When survival takes over, humans prioritize resources safety and adaptability over societal rules. By studying these historical behaviors, we gain insight into both the fragility of civilization under stress and the ingenuity that emerges when rules no longer serve immediate survival. Applying these lessons thoughtfully through preparedness, skill building, and flexible planning allows modern survivalists to learn from history without repeating its most desperate mistakes. If you found this guide useful, make sure to subscribe to Iron Age Instincts for more deep dives into history's hidden truths. Share this video with fellow enthusiasts who want a better understanding of human behavior in extreme circumstances. The past isn't just stories, it's a toolkit for survival today.